All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are talking about the Minnesota Vikings in today's video because you guys just flew overseas to London to take on the Jets, the Jets, Jets, and you kiboshed them 23-17 victory in London, 5-0, entering your bye week. This was honestly the best team in football. They are still the best team in football, and I don't want to hear any complaints about the second half. I get it that maybe it's now becoming a reoccurring theme, only scoring 3 against Green Bay 1 week ago, my Green Bay Packers, and just not doing anything too crazy outside of the first quarter. But they did score when they needed to. They had a couple of critical field goals. I have a weird superstition. I'm a Packers fan, so I'm just being a buck with you here. We played the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil in week 1. I don't know how long the NFL has been doing these London games. I remember, or just overseas games in general. I remember like watching this as a little kid, like just watching London football games at 8:30 in the morning. I don't think I've watched a game other than Packers Eagles week 1 overseas that actually had a good offensive performance. Like, that's the way I see it. And if you want to nitpick this victory, because this was Sam Darnold's worst game, and it wasn't even close. Like, we're only 5 games into the season, but Sam Darnold, in my opinion, played horribly. But he did make throws when he needed to. 14-31, 179 yards, 0 passing touchdowns, and an interception. I just have yet to, and maybe this is just like me, I don't think I've watched an overseas game where it's like, oh my God, these offenses are crazy. Like, it's always this crazy defensive performance. But if you're telling me Sam Darnold can play the way he just did, and this offense, the running game, because Aaron Jones got banged up right away, if you're telling me the Vikings can play an offensive game like that against one of the best defenses in the NFL in the New York Jets and still win, I'm going to take that any day of the week. So welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Minnesota Vikings in today's video. But before we do, folks, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. If we can try and get this video to 500 likes for 5-0, that would mean the absolute world to me. Also, be sure to check out my Vikings Daily YouTube channel down below in the comment section. I'll also put it in the description. All right, let's get into this game. So you're going up against Aaron Rodgers, my man, my GOAT, Aaron Rodgers, and you're also going up against one of the better defenses in the National Football League. And Minnesota got off to a phenomenal start. It was 17-0 early on in the second quarter. It was 10-0 after the first quarter. Minnesota had just about 100 yards in the first quarter, and they went, I think it was 5 of 6, might have been 4 or 5 on third down in the first quarter itself. It looked like it was going to be another blowout. It looked very reminiscent of last week against Green Bay, and it looked reminiscent of Houston from 2 weeks ago, but it ended up being a little bit more like the Packers game where the Vikings offense continuously stalled, and the Jets kind of just hung in the football game because Minnesota's offense wasn't putting them away. I don't really care that Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. Aaron Rodgers looked horrible this entire afternoon. And if you watched the football game, it makes me so more appreciative of Jordan Love just being my quarterback, because Aaron Rodgers was pissed off that entire game. And he finished with the stat line of 29 for 54 with 244 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and most importantly, 3 interceptions. Shout out to new acquisition, Stephon Gilmore. The humbleness Stephon Gilmore plays football with, you would have no idea that this guy's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL through the first 5 games of the season. Like, that's how humble and talented this kid really is. But they made the Jets offense look extremely worse than they were. The Jets as a whole, because I was rooting for Minnesota in this football game, but I also have Breece Hall in fantasy football, and I was just begging them to give him the ball or throw him the ball. The New York Jets ran his 14 times for 36 yards, averaging 2.6 yards per carry. Folks, this Vikings defense is the best in the NFL. I don't care if I'm being a little bit, quick with it. I don't care if I'm reaching a little bit. This Vikings defense is the best in the National Football League through the first 5 weeks of the season. You're 5-0. The Vikings are literally 5-0. This feels like a Madden simulation, like it really does. But it wasn't perfect. Like we alluded to, Sam Darnold, 14-31, 179 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. A very uncharacteristic pick. I just felt like there were times where Sam Darnold looked extremely uncomfortable, and he was kind of trying to force something out of nothing. He also got credited with a fumble, but I view that more on Ty Chandler. Maybe I got to run that tape back. Aaron Jones got banged up early on in the football game, but before he did, he had 7 carries for 29 yards, averaging about 4.1 yards per carry. But once Aaron Jones got injured, there was no run game, and it wasn't even close. Todd Chandler's a guy I really like as a backup running back for this Vikings team. He had a phenomenal final month of the regular season last year, but he finished 14 carries, 30 yards, averaging 2.1 yards per carry. So the Vikings as a team ran the ball 30 times for only 82 yards and that 1 touchdown from CJ Ham, but that's a 2.7 yards per carry. So Aaron Jones, hopefully he's good. I have a feeling he's good based on what I saw from today's football game and his injury, but it was not a good offensive performance like the stats show. Justin Jefferson, 6 catches, 92 yards, but he was targeted 14 times. Him and Sauce Gardner were going right at each other every single play, especially in the first half before Sauce got injured, and Justin Jefferson was just drawing penalty after penalty after penalty. Jordan Addison, 3 catches, 36 yards. He had 8 total targets, though, so you just kind of see that inefficiency with the offense. Johnny Munt, probably the biggest catch of the game. 2 catches, 31 yards. Aaron Jones, before he got injured, 1 catch for 24 yards. Also a little bit from Gaskin and Todd Chandler, but it just really was not a good offensive performance at all. And I get it. It's become a reoccurring theme just going back to last week against the Green Bay Packers. I feel like there were times where Kevin O'Connell wanted Sam Darnold in this offense to be aggressive, but it just wasn't clicking. Like, that's just the way I view it. It just wasn't clicking, and you're just going to have weeks like that. But if you're able to have that offensive performance and still win the football game, I mean, folks, you're a pretty damn good football team. And a lot has to do with Brian Flores-led defense, 3 interceptions, Andrew Van Ginkel with 8 pick 6, another pick 6. I mean, this is one of these kids. We're running out of time here in this video. This is one of those guys that people didn't understand. People didn't appreciate, outside of Vikings fans, the move of Andrew Van Ginkel in the offseason. Everybody just had this weird feeling because Danielle Hunter got traded or left that this Vikings defense sucks. And as you've seen in the first 5 games, that's not even close to the truth. Cam Bynum with another interception. Stephon Gilmore with another phenomenal game. They were all over Aaron Rodgers. He had no time to throw the football at any point in the football game. Harrison Smith had a great game. He had a sack as well. Ivan Pace Jr. had a great game. He had a sack as well. Blake Cashman had a great game. Jonathan Grenard had a great game. And then also, of course, the Harrison Phillips sack, and they were forcing fumbles. They were getting interceptions. They were all over Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, and that New York Jets offense. Like, this was a defensive masterpiece, and it did, or masterclass game. And it came down to the final minute or so, and Stephon Gilmore steps up, and it's just such a complimentary football team, man. Like, this defense, you can't argue it's outside of top 5. Like, that's how good this Vikings team is. You're 5-0. Enjoy your bye week. We'll see you in a day or two. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button. Give me a team grade down below in the comment section. Also, check out my Vikings YouTube channel. That's it for me. We'll see you soon. Peace.